I had this crazy idea about, we have the All-Star game coming to Cincinnati, and I thought to myself, Cincinnati has a lot of All-Stars that don't get recognized. And those All-Stars are in our business community. So that was the origin of this event, and we got a committee together to organize this. And so I would like to thank the committee. I'd like to thank DAG Construction, Dale White, Greg Webb, and Lindsay Wilhelm. They gave us meeting space and helped out. Alfonso Cornejo, where is he? Great man. Michael Pooh, where's Michael? Give Michael a round of applause. Sean Woodless. I'd also like to thank Mayor John Cranley. The mayor is here. Let's give the mayor a round of applause. And Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor, who is our guest speaker tonight. So there's going to be a reoccurring theme, and that is we are stronger together. We are stronger together. Oh, Ms. Reeder, John Reeder from Reading. The regional chamber, headed by Brian Carley, is the 5th largest chamber in the United States of America. Did everybody know that? No? Did you know that Cincinnati has the most diverse business community of any city in the Midwest, including Chicago? Did you know that our African American chamber is the largest in the state of Ohio, #1? Did you know that our Hispanic chamber is #1 in Ohio? Did you know our Indian American chamber is #1 in Ohio? And did you know that our 10-year-old Chinese chamber is #1 in Ohio? So we've got a great business community, and also, everybody, I'd like for you to notice, all 300 of you, that we are in a gorgeous setting. And that is all because of the hardest working man in Cincinnati, the man who beautifies our city, the man who deserves our full support, Willie Park.
Good afternoon, how's everybody? Since we're doing the theme of #1, Smale Riverfront Park is #1 where? In the whole country. We are #1 in the country, and let me make it clear, it's because of all of you. The things we've been able to leverage, the diversity that we brought to this park, it's been a vision of the mayor, it's been a vision of the council, it's been a vision of the board, but it's been a mandate by you. This park system, and let me roll out some words here, because I like making up all themes and words. Markenomics, partnerships. That's what this whole meeting is all about. This park started in 2008. Of the $105 million we spent, $44 million is privately raised. That privately raised funding served as betterments, and today the mayor opened 3 more pieces. The Castle in the Esplanade, he opened the Vine Street Fountain, and the Portland Loo. He said, well, Willie, what's the Portland Loo? It's the toilet, but we have to celebrate that too. So, on behalf of the Board of Park Commissioners, and all the work that you've done within this park system, I want to thank you. Because the economic engine that this park system is bringing to Cincinnati is a 6-to-1 return federal, 2-to-1 return within the city of Cincinnati, and the state return is almost $26 to 1. So thank you. But I can sit here and talk numbers all day, but my next the next presenter, John or Rita, would be better. When you talk about economic development as president and CEO of Ready Cincinnati, she's absolutely phenomenal. So let me turn this over to John or Rita, president and CEO of Ready Cincinnati.
I am so excited to be a part of tonight's event. For those of you that don't know, Ready Cincinnati, we are the Regional Economic Development Initiative, and our sole purpose is to make sure that every company knows that this is the right place to locate your business or expand your business. And we do that and stronger together in great partnership with all of the ethnic chambers that are with us here tonight. And I promise you, selling as a region and selling together, Atlanta can't say that. New York is too big to have the partnerships that we have. So when Eric says that we're #1 in this and we're #1 chamber in this, all exciting. And I hate to admit it, we're only 3rd in the country in number of new jobs created and capital investment. In the entire country, only behind Chicago and Houston, 2 and 3 times larger than our city. Guys, #3 in the country. It is happening in this region. It's happening because of great partnership. Every chamber here tonight has helped us sell this region to prospects, telling them why they need to locate their business in the greater Cincinnati region. We are stronger together, so as #1 with all of our chambers, we are also #1 in the state of Ohio in number of jobs created and capital investment. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the 69th mayor of this great city, the Honorable Mayor, John Cranley.
It's so great to be at this beautiful venue. I do want to take a moment to acknowledge some of my colleagues in the service, if you will. The great state representative, Denise Greenhouse. Denise. We have Hamilton County Recorder, Lakshmi Smarko. My good friend Brooke Hill from the U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown's office. Thank you all for being here. I've got a chance to work with most of you over the last year and a half, and I hope to work with you a lot more going forward. I think the idea of coming together is a great one. Let me speak just for a second as an American. If you look at our productivity over the last 40 years, and you compare it to Europe and Japan, we have won the battle. But if you ask yourselves why, what are the differences? Well, the birth rate in America and in Europe and Japan are all about the same, which is we're not increasing our population. The difference, though, is that in America, we have historically, we're not perfect, but historically, we've had much more liberal immigration policies than Europe and Japan. We welcome people, at least we like to believe we do with the Statue of Liberty, and I believe at least more than anybody else, we do. And our best traditions have been by welcoming people to this great country. And so, if you look at the productivity gains that our economy has gained over the last 40 years, it's primarily because of legal immigration. Remember this fact, that the biggest issue for Social Security and Medicare is the number of workers per retiree. A lot of times people talk about it, the wrong people talk about immigration as a drain on society. It's actually a huge boom economically to shore up Social Security and Medicare, to shore up the things that make the economy work and bring in the innovation and new ideas and excitement. We've got to change the laws that send the best graduates from the best universities in the world back to their countries after they get an engineering degree at UC. People are coming here and want to stay here, and then we have policies that send them back. Well, we're going to change all that. And I think we change it one step at a time. And the first thing we've got to do is work together. And so working and bringing together these wonderful chambers of commerce and start speaking with one voice. Many of you are working on my immigrant-friendly task force. I thank you for that. We're going to be rolling out those recommendations to make Cincinnati the most immigrant-friendly city in America. Let's make Cincinnati the most immigrant-friendly city in America. We believe that diversity has been and will always be America's greatest cutting edge to keep us as the leader for opportunity for all. Thank you all. I get to introduce our great Economic Development Director, Oscar Doyle. Oscar, welcome, and he'll take it from here.
The energy in this room is just phenomenal. I think everyone in here should give themselves a round of applause. So I figured I'd take the opportunity to introduce myself. I'm new to the city, been here about 8 months, and I just think the city is phenomenal. I want to thank the mayor and everyone who helped bring me to the city. Well, you know, most of you know, driving over to Kentucky, just the view shed is just breathtaking. So I think with that kind of led off my trip to Cincinnati. It's been a whirlwind, but a lot of fun the whole time I've been here these last 8 months. I figured I'd take a little bit of this time just to talk about my priorities, the priorities of the administration and the mayor, and how we're working to facilitate investment. So a little bit about myself. Just moved from New York, but I have a background in project finance, and I've been working over the last decade to facilitate investment from public-private partnerships, real estate, and infrastructure. And so hoping to leverage that to do more investment here in the city, as the market is great, as you can see everything that's going up, all the activity that's going on in the city, and leveraging the great ideas that come from the public and people like yourselves. So one of the priorities that I have is making sure that we invest and facilitate investment smartly, efficiently, and to the best of our capabilities. And so doing that, we've ramped up with our team. We've got some great all-stars. We're working on building on capacity of the current all-stars that are currently on my team, and we're looking for more. So with that said, I'll turn it over to the next speaker, but I want to just leave you with, you know, as we continue to work, I think diversity is a big piece of what we can successfully look at as an indicator of success. And so I think events like this that facilitate the conversation related to diversity and all the benefits that come with it are key. So I want to hope that my door is always open and you guys can always come to me with ideas. I hope to leverage those ideas and make Cincinnati even better than it is today. All right?
Thank you. I also like to represent or acknowledge County Logs here from Senator Portman's office. County, thank you for coming. Now, I had to ask this gentleman for the pleasure to introduce him, and he said yes, and I just get the biggest kick out of it. It's my pleasure to introduce Sean Ruckles. He is the CEO and president of the African American Chamber. Mr. Ruckles. And I have a story with this gentleman because I remember when we started Smale Riverfront Park, and I went to him and I said, hey, I want to make this as the most diverse project in the city. And he looked at me and he said, that dirt pile?
I knew there was something more than just a general introduction. Well, good evening, Cincinnati. Good evening, Cincinnati. All right, well, first of all, I wanted to formally introduce you to a very visionary concept called 4 is 1. And I'm blessed to be here for 2 reasons. One, if you really take a look at what all the speakers have been talking about, there's a huge amount of momentum in Cincinnati. We are days away from the All-Star game. And I'll tell you about this conversation that I had with Mr. Carden here. Several years ago, before coming to the African American Chamber, I was actually the president of tourism for Cincinnati. And so my office is actually that tower right there, the highest tower there on the 8th floor. And we manage regional tourism and relations with the Reds, the Bengals, and everything from that office. And this young man came in one day with a roll of paper and a vision and said, you know, we're going to create Cincinnati's living room. And I said, out of that pile of dirt? And he said, yeah. And we're here, fast forward almost 8 years later. And I think 2 things you should know about the momentum of Cincinnati. Under the leadership of Willie Carden, Cincinnati Park System is one of the best in the nation and actually is a peer to China and a couple of other countries, so in France. So give Willie Carden. Since we're still out numbers, this is only the 8th event to happen in this facility. So actually, all of you being here opens up this facility, so give yourselves a round of applause. First, on behalf of the African American Chamber, I want to thank my board of directors, our members for being here today for a very important day. For as one, together we are stronger means that collectively, individually, we're doing great things. These chambers, if you go to any other city, they may have an African American chamber, they may not. They may have a Hispanic chamber, they may not. They may not have an Indian chamber or a Chinese chamber. So we're blessed to have the collection of chambers that we have here today. A couple of things you should also know is that in Cincinnati, and John had talked about this as our partner, there's only 1 degree of separation. And so this is one of the most collaborative regions that you'll ever see. And then lastly, what I would just kind of say is that it's great to be here with the mayor that's also getting economic inclusion as a priority. We're also joined today by, at state level, with the Lieutenant Governor's office, and we also have a federal representation too from Senator Bob Portman's office. So I would say to you, it's not us that made this happen. It's clearly you, our business community, that's making this happen. So again, thank you on behalf of the African American Chamber for being here, and I'll turn it over to my good friend, Alfonso Fernando.
Thank you very fast. Alfonso Cornejo, the president of the Spanish Chamber of Commerce. Well, thank you very much for coming. We're delighted to be here. Regarding my accent, it's the only one I have, so hang in there. I want to share with you how lucky we are that we have all these 4 chambers of commerce working together. The intent of this event is to create and support the concept of a global city. Not very many cities in the Midwest have been designated global cities. So this is a global city, and we want to continue and expand and win in the ranks of what's called global city. Diverse teams will always outperform homogeneous teams, and global cities will beat regular cities anyway. So we are lucky to be here, and this is just this shows how robust our chambers are. And our intent is to do this event every year. We don't know if it's exactly this month or not, but we want to recognize the companies that are doing things in the national business every year. So this is an awesome. If you are looking at the loop, you will see that on October 12th, we're bringing the past president of Mexico, Ernesto Cedillo, to Organa, October 12th. And guess what? We still have some tickets, and we still can get some additional sponsorship. So put in your calendar, it's going to be an awesome event. And again, thank you very much. After this event, Fountain Square, Salsa on the Square tonight, it's going to be awesome. Thank you very much. And now, Michael on the technical.
My name is Michael Koo. I'm the chairman of the Greater Cincinnati Chamber of Commerce. So I'm actually born and raised here in Cincinnati, and I'm first generation, and people ask me, your parents could have moved anywhere in the world, anywhere in the United States, and they moved here to Cincinnati. And they ask me why, and this is why. This is why we're all here. This is why I'm proud to be a Cincinnatian. This is why I'm proud to be part of the China Chamber of Commerce. But this is actually our 10th year. Now, 10 years ago, I don't know if I could be on the stage. 10 years ago, everyone would be talking about China taking jobs, but now it's so different. 10 years, what do we have now? China wants to buy our food. Our third top export out of Ohio is actually soybeans, and most of those go to China. China wants our automobiles. They want our airplanes. During the 2015 Paris Auto Show, 3 Chinese airlines committed to buying $1.8 billion worth of GE aircraft engines. So you see how different China is now. China is a business partner. China is a source of foreign direct investment. 10 years ago, would you have ever expected a Chinese company to come make a $360 million investment, committing to 1,550 jobs? That's in Mehrin, Ohio. That's only 50 miles away. So we all see now China has become so much closer to Cincinnati. And this is just a celebration for us to really understand the importance of all these different minority chambers. Thank you. I'd like to get on stage. Thank you, Rohan, the American Chamber.
Okay, I was told to keep it short. We're on a time set here. So I'm going to cut ahead and tell you a little about the greater Cincinnati area and the Indian population. We have 2,500 families here in Cincinnati. They call Cincinnati home. So we formed the Indian American Chamber of Commerce 5 years ago. But it wasn't under the principles of the cultural religious aspects that there are so many in India. It was about the principles of doing business together. That's why we unite. We do it because American professionals and businesses and Indian professionals and businesses can connect locally and internationally. We are so excited to help grow the pie bigger for everyone. When Ryan and I started the chamber 5 years ago, Ryan Patino, our president, it was about what's bigger than Cincinnati. This event right here, this is what's bigger than Cincinnati. This is where we can go, working together, connecting in the room together so that we can form one solid partnership. Right now, we're a 100% volunteer-run organization. We have small businesses, entrepreneurs, and IT professionals, medical professionals that make up most of our membership. And the whole aspect is to give American businesses an idea of what the Indian business practices are and help us grow together. We invited the Lieutenant Governor here today for one main reason, to open that communication pipeline between our diverse community and the state agencies. I want to first thank Lieutenant Governor Mehrin Taylor, who will be coming up shortly, for her support of our event, some of the other influential members that have supported us, including Mr. Willie Cardin, Mr. Eric Kearney, and Mayor Cranley. For those that don't know, I'm Lindsay Wilhelm, and I do this for fun. My day job is with DAG Construction, and we're a minority-owned business. So the reason for getting involved in the chamber is to show that even though we're a flourished community, we want to be here to take it to the next level. A couple events coming up that you should know about is our 500-plus person gala that happens in fall. It's a celebration of culture and commerce. And on July 24th, we have the biggest Bollywood singer coming from India. Her name is Shira Ghoshal. She'll be at the Aeronaut. If you want tickets or want to hear more about the event, Jay Beatty, one of our advisory board members, is in the room. Somewhere back in the corner. And he'll tell you and sell you all the ticket sheets. It's going to be an amazing show. So I hope you can enjoy our culture and embrace it. Mr. Willie Cardin.
Thank you, Lucy. Now it's our pleasure to introduce the Honorable Lieutenant Governor for this great state, Mayor Chair.
He was ready to speak in case I didn't get up here quick enough, and we would have all enjoyed that. Thank you very much. Well, it's great to be back here in Cincinnati. We had a meeting a little bit earlier, and I met with the 4 chambers represented this evening at this wonderful event. We did that meeting, one, because they asked that I come down and have that meeting privately first. But I did it because I'm here to listen. I'm here to listen to the issues, the concerns that I can take back to Columbus, and we can start working on the issues that are impacting all of your communities. I think we support the same principles, the same ideals. We have the same goals. And so I think it's time, if we haven't in the past, to start working on the solutions to the problems and start working on the ways that we can all achieve our goals together. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to open up the dialogue with these 4 major chambers, and that will continue. That will be my promises. We will continue to have discussions. And I agree there will be things that we agree on, and there will be things that maybe we don't agree on. But that's okay. It's the dialogue that's most important, and let's work on solutions to the problems that we have that we know we can solve together. This is a great event, 4 in 1, 4 as 1. Congratulations to Eric Kearney and the others who worked so hard to organize this event. Cincinnati is a great area. You all know that because you've chosen to live here. You've chosen to stay here in some cases, and in some cases, you've chosen to come here. And so Cincinnati, it really truly is a great city, and I think it's a great city in the great state of Ohio. Cincinnati has so much to offer, and it's so great to be here with all of you. Success in the Southwest is outpacing the rest of the state of Ohio. You may not know that, and there may be times when you don't really think that. But if you look at what's going on here in Southwest Ohio and Cincinnati, you truly are outpacing. Just a couple of events that personally I visit, or events that I participated in. ThyssenKrupp, their groundbreaking ceremony. GE Aviation Electric Power Integrated Systems in Dayton, which is still Southwest Ohio. I know it's not the city of Cincinnati. I participated in their grand opening ceremony in 2013. Of course, you've got GE here down on the river, and we could go on and on and on. There's a lot of really great things going on in the Cincinnati area, and we should all be very proud of the work that's being done in order to make that happen today. Of course, thank you. And of course, it's appropriate, the first person clapping must know what my very next line is. Because it says, regional partners, this wouldn't be possible without all of the important relationships and cooperation that we all have with each other as regional partnerships, like Freddie and John Reed. It truly is my next in my notes. That's fantastic. And of course, Mayor Cranley, who's doing such a great job as the mayor of your city. I think it shows just when you come down here. Now, if he's not here and I carry on about him and tell him how great he is, somebody has to make sure they let him know that I did do that this evening. But we've had a great partnership, and I really appreciate all the work that the mayor is doing. The MLK Bridge event at the University of Cincinnati Medical Center in 2014, I think, spoke very well about the partnership that exists between the city of Cincinnati, Hamilton County, and of course the state of Ohio. So again, I want to thank the mayor for his leadership here and for everything that's because of the work that he's doing and the great work that he's doing. And we certainly want to continue that success, and we want to continue to move forward. The day we came into office, I can tell you, it was one of the governor's first priorities to make sure that we had an inclusive administration, reaching out to the minority groups across the state of Ohio, and how could we do more and how could we do better to be inclusive with the minority community. We listened to many of you, some of you in this room, many of you across the state of Ohio, about how do we involve the minority business community in a different way. As you probably know, the former administration and many before that had never hit the 15% benchmark for minority business enterprise work with the state of Ohio. The governor has made that our goal. He continues to reinforce that as our goal, and we're going to continue to push all of our state agencies to make sure they do everything in their power to not only meet that goal, but to exceed that goal where possible. This administration has awarded the most number of state contracts to MBEs since 1980, and we have certified the most MBEs since the rule's inception in 1980. We're serious about this. Serious about it from that perspective, but we also looked critically at our state agencies, the two that have an impact on state contracting, DAS, Department of Administrative Services, and DSA, Development Service Administration. They held a week-long lean event to start looking at why our MPE program wasn't more successful. How do we reach out to more minority businesses? Because of that process, they streamlined the certification process. They established formal processes that we communicate with the minority business community and making sure that they are aware of the state contracting opportunities that exist. We are also enforcing our requirements that state agencies provide projected spending plans. So when we do our budgets, and we know the legislature just got through with the state budget, which is why Denise Treehouse is here with us this evening, or she probably wouldn't be with us, she would be up in Columbus working. The governor asks every one of us at state agencies to project where we believe we are going to be from an inclusive perspective. How are we doing with our minority business contracts, and can we do more? And so we don't do it just on an annual basis, but we do it on a regular basis to make sure that each agency is being held accountable for meeting the goals that we feel so strongly about. We also have established an email notification policy to remind you of your MBE vendor certification and to make sure that you are renewing it when it comes due. If you're not on that list and you want to be, please make sure that you talk to Lisa. Where is Lisa? From my office, and we'll make sure that we get you connected to that list so that you know what's going on. We also have another list that if you're not on it, I want you to talk to Lisa and make sure you get on that list. It's an electronic listserv to inform all of our minority business community of procurement opportunities. So we want to make sure that we're not just reacting to your needs, but we're also being proactive to reach out to you to let you know about the business opportunities here with the state of Ohio. Also, you know, Governor Kasich signed Executive Order 2012-13K to reestablish the Ohio Minority Business Advisory Council. We're very serious about that as an active group that is working very aggressively to put processes in place to make sure that we don't just talk about being inclusive, but that we have processes in place to be inclusive, and that we have accountability measures to make sure that we are meeting the goals that the governor has impressed upon each of us that we meet. We also, this is Cincinnati, not Cleveland, so I do know where I am, but there is a very important project in Cleveland. If you're not aware of it, it's something that I think is a good role model, or it's a good pilot project for what we can do here in Cincinnati if it's not already being done, but we can do it across the state of Ohio. They have a project called the Opportunity Corridor, and up there we have created what's called an Opportunity Corridor Inclusion Committee, and that's to make sure it's a major construction project to link different parts of Cleveland together through a highway project. It's never been linked together before, but as part of that project, we have all committed to making sure that we are inclusive with the way contracts are being awarded. So a committee has been put together, it's chaired by Andrew Jackson, to make sure that we have included minority contractors where we can, where we should, and how we can in that entire construction project. So we're really excited about the work of this committee. We are very excited about what we know will be the progress that they make, the example that they set. But I think it also, I hope, reflects the commitment that this administration has in order to be more inclusive with our minority community, our minority business community, to make sure that we're addressing their needs. So if that's something, again, that you might be interested in, either as a vendor or contractor, or of course if it's something that is tends to be an example, lends itself as an example to the rest of the state, we certainly would be very pleased about that. That project's just getting started, so we have lots of great opportunity up there with that Cleveland project. We want to work with you, we look forward to your feedback, and I hope that you will view my presence here not only as my own personal commitment, but the commitment of this administration to continue the dialogue with the minority business community, to be inclusive and to address the issues that may impact you in a slightly different and unique way. Let me just talk real quick about the state budget, but also more about what our goals are, just generally speaking. And for those of you that own businesses, run businesses, manage businesses, you not only care about the more minority aspect of it, but also looking just more generally about what our policies are to support economic development here in Ohio. The governor and I have continued to push for tax cuts to make it easier for small businesses to be successful here in the state of Ohio. Just passed in this budget $900 million of new tax cuts for small business. And this should or could or would or may impact many of you in this room. 75% tax cut for businesses earning under $250,000 in 2016, but 100% tax cut for businesses earning $250,000 for fiscal year 17. So if you're a small business, those are truly small businesses. That's money we hope and we know you will put back in your business. You'll reinvest in your business, creating new technology, grow your business, employ more people. We also continue to look for ways to cut the personal income tax. This budget cuts the personal income tax by 6.3%. Again, reinforcing our objectives to put more money back in your pocket so that you can make decisions about how that money is spent, not how we spend it. The income tax rate reduction, 6.3%. The highest individual income tax rate in Ohio is now down to 4.97%. We hear this from businesses all over the country looking to locate or relocate or expand their business in Ohio. They look at the personal income tax rate and want to know that if they come to the state of Ohio, they can be competitive and they're not going to be bogged down with excess taxes or excess regulations. Which takes me then to our next. The next thing I just want to touch on briefly is CSI. I'm not sure if we've had the opportunity through CSI, which is our common sense initiative to interact with many of you in this room, but CSI is it's an objective that I lead. It's called our Common Sense Initiative to reform our regulations in Ohio to make it easier to do business. We have had interaction with the Cincinnati Chamber as a whole, I have met with the minority African American chamber to discuss this issue. We've met with minority groups across the state of Ohio. And really what we do is we take any issue that you might have as an individual business, association, or a community, and you might have dealing with the state, whether it's a new rule, a regulation, or just something that quite honestly doesn't make sense to you. We take your issue, we work with you, and we work with every state agency that impacts that rule to make sure that we are giving you the best possible outcome. Now, what that means is we're not always going to agree on what the answer needs to be, but we're going to get you a seat at the table to have a conversation, to open the dialogue with a state agency that is regulating you, where you have a role or an issue that you just can't quite overcome that hurdle. I can give you two quick examples to better explain because I feel like I'm not doing a good enough job explaining what we do at CSI. The first one, about 2 years ago, we had a CPA that represented a small business client. He was paying their sales tax. The CPA overpaid their client's sales tax by $65,000. Actually remitted the check, paid the taxes. CPA immediately realized what they had done wrong. They contacted the Department of Taxation. Tax agreed that that company had overpaid their sales tax by $65,000. They also agreed that that company was due a refund, and they agreed that through their processes it would be a couple months before that money could be refunded back to that small business taxpayer. That CPA was panicked. You all know small businesses. Do you have $65,000 extra dollars? No, most don't. Most businesses don't. That CPA panicked. They called our office, our CSI office. We contacted the Department of Taxation and we said, look, we need to be reasonable here. We need to be responsive to the needs of our small business owners. Surely, since we're all on the same page and agree the money should be refunded, you need to get that money out as quickly as possible. Because of our work and our call, they returned that money within a week, which is really the right answer. It's the answer they should have gotten in the first place. It took our call and we're happy to do that. We also work with business associations. We rewrote the residential building code, for example, here in Ohio. And because of our work, we worked with home builders across the state of Ohio, other stakeholders. Because of our work, the residential building code was written in a way that new home buyers could take advantage of all the new economic and environmental opportunities to save money, but they could do it in a way that was less costly. What was originally proposed was going to cost over $2,000 per new home. But because of the work that we did rewriting the residential building code, we were able to save over $2,000 per new home that would be constructed. Those are just two examples, one specific, one broad. But if you have an issue, you have a concern, you feel like you are getting stonewalled at a state agency, I hope that you will reach out and give us a call. We can help you work through that issue. I tell people if you're following the rules and you've done everything you're supposed to do, we should be able to help you. If you haven't followed the rules, we may not be able to help you, but if you're following the rules and you've done everything right, we can be there for you to act as your advocate. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you this evening. I think it's really a historic event that we have 4 as 1 chambers here representing the Cincinnati area minority business community. I think this is a first of many great networking opportunities to come. I hope that you will consider us a partner in your success. And I hope that you will also reach out to us when you have issues or concerns. We are here to be responsive to your needs and try to come up with solutions to your problems. So I appreciate the opportunity to be with you. I appreciate meeting ahead of time with our 4 major chambers. And I hope that you all enjoy your evening and enjoy your next week to come. What great fun in Cincinnati, Ohio, the All-Star Game. So thank you all so much for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you so much. What do you think? 4 as 1. Absolutely proud to put yourself down the ball. Couple thank yous. Laura Clark for doing all the press work today. We want to thank you. The dignitaries and the leadership will be here. If you got some options, go network, but more importantly, look at this park out. Go out outside and have a good time, all right? And there's a carousel upstairs. I guarantee you it's going to bring smiles. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome to Smale Riverfront Park. Thank you.